Heart first leadership isn't what you say, it's how you show up, how you regulate, how you communicate, and how you execute when it matters most. We are Heidi and Ryan Sawyer, and you are listening to the Heart First Leadership Podcast.
Welcome back to the show. Once again, here we are. We're on a roll. It seems like we're on a roll because we're recording a handful in a row here. It's summertime, so we're trying to free up our schedule a little bit. So this one's dropping. This one's coming to you sometime towards the end of July, I'm assuming. So hope your summer's going well. Hope you had a wonderful, safe 4th. And last week we talked about failure. We started this conversation about
defining failure
and really redefining failure, right? And so it's a very thin line between failure and success. And if you redefine failure, it's a natural progression that you're going to probably question, well, then if failure is just not trying, then what is success?
Because we've already determined that not meeting the expectation is going to provide lessons, right? And failing.
So then now, what is success?
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about success, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Progress.
Progress towards a worthy ideal. So we talked about this within the idea of being happy. I'm not a huge fan, but I am. There is times that Gary V has little moments of wisdom. A lot of things he talks about I don't necessarily agree with. Like he promotes a lot of use of technology and where we are of the mindset, like we're trying to put our kids in front of screens as little as possible, but there's different things that he has really good nuggets. And one of the things that he talks about, I've heard him talk about multiple times when I ever check out his content, which isn't very often. He talks about as a society, we need to redefine what success looks like. What is success? Mm-hmm. And one of the things he talks about is, what if success was when you wake up tomorrow, you're happy?
Yeah.
Right. And so this is like this through line here, these last few weeks of, okay, well, what makes you happy? Right. Knowing and understanding the human experience, like happiness is going to be spontaneously created through progress.
Yeah. We talked about that in the happiness episode a few back.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then the question becomes, okay, well, progress towards, again, what? Like, right, a definite aim or purpose, right? So I think that it's important for us to begin to explore, like integration is about finding the middle of two things. The middle of two things, number one is that, like, okay, we talk about progress towards a worthy ideal, progress towards being the best version of yourself. Yes. That's half of the conversation when it comes to success. Mm-hmm. The other half of the conversation is, how are you actually tangibly out there in the world fulfilling the hole that you see, right? Mm-hmm. And this is why we're so huge on helping people identify what we call their specialty role, their specialty function in the world, the hole that they see, and how are they actively filling that hole, right? Mm-hmm. So progress towards that sense of purpose in the life, that sense of meaning and contribution, can be defined as success. That's what's going to lead to the ultimate sense of psychological safety, of feeling okay, of being able to source and spontaneously create happiness and joy in your life, right? So let's just bounce back for a moment and let's make sure that we're on the same page of what the average person would potentially define success as.
Mm-hmm. You wanted me to shoot out a couple of thoughts on that?
Yeah.
So I think in our culture here in the United States and many others around the world, money and wealth is a symbol of success, that you have had success in your life. Maybe physical fitness, how somebody's physical body is in shape or fit. Having maybe a long-term partner, marriage, kids, family, having friends and popularity, being a person who's liked by a lot of other people. Maybe being famous would be considered to be successful to some people.
So to be well known.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well known, like made a name for yourself in the world. I would say a lot of it is along the lines of material possessions, and then also how others perceive you and what others think about you.
There's a lot to unpack there, but I think that what I want to discuss when it comes to success is the integration between the simplicity of progress, right? Progress towards a worthy ideal, progress towards a definite aim or purpose, progress towards becoming a version of yourself, and as well as the acknowledgement and the acceptance that we're human and that there's this other side that does come into play where it's less about the materialistic component to life, but more about the idea that naturally what's going to happen when you're on that path of self-mastery and service to others, let's call it. Yeah. That people are going to be giving you a sense of, you're going to be getting feedback from your environment. Right. You're going to be getting some social feedback of the impact that you're making, of who you're becoming, of what people notice about you, of what inspires them, whatever it is, no matter whether you're, whatever role you are playing in life, right? That we can legitimately find success within those terms in every single area of our life in any moment. Because the trap becomes this. If we define success as in some sort of out there.
Yeah.
Sane?
Like everything that I just listed. Right. Is basically out there.
It's out there. Yeah. Not just out there as in outside of ourselves, but out there as in some sort of future destination. Right? Then number one, that is going to be a sense of, there's going to be this conditional sense of psychological safety that's going to always make you feel like there's never enough. And if you do achieve the out there materialistic thing, success, right? And it arrives and then it doesn't last. You don't feel the way you thought you're going to feel. That then turns into a narrative. It's like, what's the point? Why did I do all this? Right? So this learned helplessness actually is created because we are focusing on the wrong thing. So like legitimately, even a redefinition of success for me in this moment is to focus on the right things.
I'm thinking about, we have this kind of preconceived idea that if we have, the mansion and the this and that, all the fancy cars and all these options that, money and that type of success can get us, that we're going to be happy. But there are so many people who have all of those things and are completely miserable. And so thinking about for myself, how I would define success is I want to know what your internal experience is like.
That's right.
It's great if you have a lot of nice things, and there's nothing wrong with that. We like nice things too, but what's your internal experience day to day? What's the vibration that you're waking up in the morning? How are your interactions in your relationships? What's the quality of your internal experience from moment to moment? Yeah. That to me is the measure of success, because that's the life experience you're living, regardless of what you have.
Yeah. And that's what we're actually after. Just to let you know, here's the reality. It's so simple. A lot of people are driven towards incredible feats, right? Because they think that moment in time, that achievement is going to help them to feel what you're just talking about internally. So we got to start there, right? And then accept that, yes, we should get out and still produce and perform and create and engage and connect and all the other aspects of being human, right? So there is a middle ground between the two. And from a societal perspective, like doing things right or doing the right thing, that's the question. And that's a mind-bending question if you sit with it. Doing things right or doing the right thing. Well, how do you know what the right thing is? Well, how do you know if I'm doing things right? Right. And it's a level of, again, to understand and pull back the veil of how our perception of the world is formed by our past conditioning and our past experiences in a way that we don't feel like we're doing things right or doing the right thing. And I don't know how many times that I have been on this path. It's countless times I've been on this path of progress towards a definite aim or purpose, or progress towards a worthy ideal, where I feel like I'm doing the wrong thing. I feel like I should be doing something else that's more in alignment with what society expects from me, right, or what they quote unquote would be able to tangibly, objectively label as success. Because when I'm sitting down here in my office and I'm working on a big project or something like that, and it doesn't seem to be any sort of improvement in our bottom line or our financial situation, right? But I know internally I'm definitely making progress towards that definite aim, towards that worthy ideal, right? I feel successful internally, but I'm not going to get that sort of feedback from anywhere, not even my wife. Yeah. Right. Nowhere in the world is going to get like, Ryan, you're really crushing it right now. Like, I'm not going to get that social proof.
It takes a level of faith there to go, all right, I'm having the experience that I want to have doing the work I'm here to do in the world, and trusting that when you put enough value out there, value comes back too, that there's an energy exchange. Because yeah, we have another business that we could be working in, doing things in, but we choose to spend our time doing this because this is what fuels us. This is what like ignites that fire inside of us and makes us feel alive. And not everybody understands that in our life either. And so, you know, there's people in our life that they don't get what we're doing, and that's okay. And their definition of success is a lot different than ours, because ours has a little more to do with our internal experience than, you know, meeting some.
It's at least 51% more about the internal experience than the external validation and or materialistic success.
And I think it's generational too. Like different generations have different ideas of what, you know, we're entrepreneurs. We're completely self-employed. We don't have jobs that have good benefits, right? We have to provide our own benefits. And so for certain generations, it's like, you know, that's the marker of success, having this stable, steady Eddie job with benefits. Yeah. So our definitions of success, even as different generations, can change as well. And that's kind of where we find ourselves right now too. It's just, we're just in a different place.
So you define it. So here's what I just take these last couple podcasts and explore them. Let them percolate for a while. Because initially you're going to be like, no, failure is failure. You didn't win the game. You failed. Okay. Well, then you have a long road ahead of you in life, because I know to create the life that you desire, that you're going to have to learn a lot of lessons along the way. And so if we can stop looking at it as failure and start looking at it as a vehicle for growth, that's going to lead towards a more successful life. And these two conversations play into each other, right? And so then to redefine and to make sure you're focusing on the right thing instead of doing things right. Doing things right is a perception of others, is a projection of what you think other people expect out of you, is making sure that people approve and understand how you live your life or how you measure your success. That is materialistic, it's financial, it's this, it's that, and the other, right? That's the idea that, hey, I'm doing things right. I'm doing things right over here. Why isn't life turning out the way I expect it to? No, because you're focusing on the wrong things. So to do the right thing starts by focusing on the right thing. And the right thing is a beginning with the internal domain. And I say 51%, 49%, but really what we want to eventually integrate into, and this is something that we probably should talk to our, you know, higher level clients and coaches with, is to understand that eventually integration looks like 100%, right? That there is this complete marriage between an integration between our inner and our outer world, where I don't have to try to be more focused internally than externally. I'm equally experiencing both 100% the inner and the outer world, right? And they are linked together, right? Where I'm no longer focusing on trying to create a level of success that's based upon past conditioning or societal biases that says, oh, this person must be doing things right over here. Look at them, right? They must, I mean, look at, someone drives by, they're in a nice car, they got a nice home. They must be doing things right. Yep. Right. Okay. But what if we could take a screenshot into their inner domain, into their inner dialogue, into their inner experience, into their body, and see how their body feels on a daily basis? Are they in alignment with their highest purpose in life, right? And so to do the right thing is to start by exploring what it is you want internally, and then begin to step out into the world and make progress towards that worthy ideal, and then find ways to integrate where the two, the inner and the outer world, are married into one.
Yeah. It reminds me of that Ikigai, that graphic of, what is something that you can do, that you enjoy doing, what's something that can serve the world, and then all these different ways that these things intersect and create this central purpose or movement and motion towards a worthy ideal. And that is what success is.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything other than I really want to hit on. We're trying to keep these last few ones a little bit shorter for you so we can, just kind of give you the opportunity to jump in, get a little nugget, and get back with your day. So I just know how valuable your time is. I appreciate you spending it here with us, and just value you wherever you are on your journey, and honor that, and just, really want to let you know how important it is and how much it means to us when we get feedback of how this podcast is making an impact in your life, in those people around you, a review, a testimonial, or just even a conversation to explore, like, how can you be more involved and be, get more exposure to this integrated mindset that we have continued and we will continue to develop and integrate into our lives. Right. And seeing how the positive impact it's making on our lives, on people around us, on our teammates and beyond.
We get a lot of feedback within our coaching programs, that it's so rewarding to hear about the transformations and the shifts that people are making within the integrated mindset program. But somewhere where we don't get a whole lot of feedback currently, we're starting to get more, but it's here on the podcast. So we would really love to, have you leave a rating and review, to share the podcast with other people. That's really going to help grow the show and continue to make this sustainable for us to keep putting this work out there and hopefully impacting more lives. And you can be part of that ripple effect by leaving us a review. So thanks again for your time, and we will see you next time. Thank you for listening. Remember, leaders go first, alignment matters, and the environment that you create is the legacy you'll leave. We'll see you on the next episode.